Welcome back, True Seeker. Apologies, running a few minutes late here for the scheduled time. It's Wednesday, November 7th, 2018. Because it's a Wednesday, you know what time it is this evening. Gematria Effect on TFR Live every Wednesday night, 6 to 9 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 p.m. to midnight on the East Coast. Check your time zone. It's internet radio, so you can listen anywhere in the world. Free to listen to, free to call into. Every Wednesday night, 3 hours. Gematria Effect. Again, that website, TFR, stands for Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. But what I want to talk about is the election. We said that the Democrats would take the House, the Republicans would control the Senate, and that's exactly what happened. And we knew that because we knew the code that reveals how the entire world of politics is nothing but a scripted theater show. Like Mark Twain said, if voting mattered, they wouldn't let us do it. Everyone who casts a vote validates a lie. All of these elections are predetermined. These people are born for the throne. Let's start off here with Jeff Sessions' resignation. For 2 years straight, we've been talking about Jeff Sessions and his rituals in the media again and again with the number 47. I have a merchandise campaign, the What is 47 campaign, to get people thinking about this number. This number is so important to the people who are responsible for the script. So as you can see on the screen, Jeff Sessions has resigned today, November 7th, 47 days before his upcoming 72nd birthday. And Jeff Sessions in Gematria sums to 47. This language of letters and numbers is Jewish. It is Masonic. And 47 is the single most important number in this entire study. It is the number in Washington, D.C. And why is 47 the most important number? Again, this entire code of letters and numbers comes from Kabbalah. Kabbalah is this mysticism. It has this belief. God created the world by merging the letter with the number. And in Hebrew, the name for that God is Elohim, which in Hebrew sums to 47. 47. The Freemasons, who have their headquarters for North America in Washington, D.C., they have a logo. They have a compass right here with a capital G in it. And that compass is set at 47 degrees as a tribute to the 47th problem of Euclid, the Greek mathematician. The 47th problem of Euclid is about how to establish foundation for a structure. The word foundation sums to 47 in the same cipher that Jeff Sessions sums to 47. It's why this nation's birthday, a nation founded by Freemasons and Jewish bankers and occultists, it's why our birthday is the 4th day of the 7th month. This number is the ultimate ritual number. Masonry is based in rituals. I can't tell you how many times I've talked about 47 and politicians just in the last year. Over the course of the last 5 years, it seems like it was an infinite amount of times. One of the biggest stories I remember about earlier this year was Nancy Pelosi filibustering for the longest speech in the history of Congress, 47 days from her birthday, on a date with 47 numerology. These rituals again and again by the same repetitive code. About a month ago, I did a video on somebody who got inspired in Oregon State, and they just scratched into their back pane of their old pickup truck, what is 47? I'm just imagining a whole nation of old pickup trucks, people willing to go out and scratch the paint, what is 47, just to get people to read it. 47 again and again and again and again. And let's go a little bit deeper with 47 in Washington, D.C., just in case you stumbled on this video and you're brand new here. I want you to see Lisa Simpson and Ivanka Trump. And if you're going, well, why are those two names up there? It's because of the Simpsons cartoon. The Simpsons projected Donald Trump to be the first president, followed by the first female, Lisa Simpson. Then they put out a cartoon after that where Ivanka Trump runs for president in 2028. You can look it up. 2028 is going to be the year that Ivanka turns 47 years old. She's born in 1981. She'll be 47 in 2028. But look at this. Let's just look here and explain what the 4 base ciphers are. This first cipher up on the screen is the same one where Jeff Sessions equals 47, foundation equals 47. What you're doing in this cipher is you're taking the alphabetic order and you're incorporating the rules of numerology with each letter. So for example, L is worth 3. Why is L worth 3 in this cipher? It's because L's the 12th letter. The numerology of 12 is 1 plus 2 is 3. I, the 9th letter. I is worth 9. You're making each letter a single digit number. S is the 19th letter. It's the only letter you have to reduce 2 times to get to a single digit. So 19 becomes 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 becomes 1 plus 0 is 1. So S is 1. A is the first letter. A is 1. S is 1 again. I is 9 again. M, the 13th letter. 1 plus 3 is 4. P, the 16th letter. 1 plus 6 is 7. So on. You do that for each letter. Then you add the word. Lisa Simpson, 47. The next cipher is the alphabetic order in reverse with the rules of numerology. So for example, Z is 1 back to A is 26. But since it's numerology, instead of A being 26 in this cipher, it would be 2 plus 6 is 8. You're just making each letter a single digit number. The next cipher is just the alphabetic order. So L is 12, I is 9, S is 19, A is 1. You just add up the alphabetic order, the letters using the alphabetic order. And the last cipher is the reverse alphabetic order. So anyway, what are the odds that Lisa Simpson and Ivanka Trump are a perfect match in light of The Simpsons and its predictive programming with Trump? If you've missed my work on Matt Groening and what's coded into his name and how he has so many correct predictions, you should seek that out. And a really good way to do that is just to pick up my book. You will get life-changing knowledge, 800-page book at a very insignificant price. I priced the book cheaply because I want people to be able to afford it, get the knowledge, learn, see the code, and see through the lies every day ever after, because that's what we need in this nation. That's what we need in this world. People waking up to the agenda, what's going on, the propaganda, the rigged elections, and everything else we uncover. Every American needs this knowledge. So anyway, using our base ciphers, coming back to 47, president's 47, White House is 47, government's 47, authorities 47, Trump's 47, DC is 47, Republicans 47, Democrats 47. What are the odds of this? What are the odds? Astronomical. And if you're out there thinking, well, maybe since you use 4 ciphers, you can get anything to sum to 47. Okay, go out and try. Go see if you can make anything sum to 47. You know, not a single person in my family has a name that sums to 47. So it's not that way, because all of this is very well and very cleverly thought out. And if you decode these words, you're going to notice just how many other numbers overlap, but we're focusing on 47 right now. And then, you know, to have Ivanka run in the cartoon when she's 47 years old, you really want to call that a coincidence? And also what you should know is this dark blue cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, it's the most pure cipher. They're all important. This one's the most important, far and away. So Jeff Sessions, he is resigning 47 days from his birthday, Mr. 47 himself. And again, Trump's 47. He was in the 47-story Midtown Hilton Hotel the night of the rigged election, which he was born and bred for. Again, for years, I've been doing Jeff Sessions and 47 posts. You know, just search my blog. If you guys want to come here and just do a search on Jeff Sessions, just type in his name, you'll see exactly what I mean. The evidence is here. So the man replacing Jeff Sessions, he just turned 49 years old. Another big number in Washington. Washington's 49. Donald J. Trump, the way he signs his author name's 49. We've talked about how his books that he released were synced up with his election. Scottish, as in Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, which has its headquarters in D.C., which George Washington was a member of, which the majority of the founders of this nation were, also 49. Notice when Trump tweets his name, he puts the G in there, right? The G. That G, what's under the compass and the Freemason logo. Think about G. Gematria means geometry in language. These are instruments of geometry around the G. Gematria, Masonic practice. Obviously, this gang had a lot of influence on the final spelling of words in the English language and the standardization of the alphabet at 26 letters. And if you haven't read my book, the first chapter is Why Are There 26 Letters in the English Alphabet? Knowledge everyone deserves to know. 15-page chapter that'll blow your mind. But that G, the seventh letter, 7 and 47 have a big relationship. The divisors of 4 sum to 7. 7's the fourth prime number. Prime numbers show strength. They cannot be divided. That's part of where the significance of 4 and 7 come from. 4 foundation, 7 completion. Complete foundation, 4, 7 in numerical speak. So anyway, this guy's 49 years old, just turned 49, a number that has a square root of 7. Trump calls him Matthew G. Whitaker. We know why. It's a nation, or it's a gang of Freemasons running the nation. But again, all of these words, 49. I noticed that Matthew G. Whitaker's birthday, October 29, 1969, date with 127 numerology, like Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Today's date, November 7th, 2018, also a date with 56 numerology, big number in Washington, D.C. Big D.C. news. We got the shakeup with Sessions. I also noticed that Matthew Whitaker and Donald John Trump, the president's full name, perfect overlap in 3 of the 4 ciphers. How about that? And this whole ritual synced up with Jeff Sessions' 72nd birthday. He'll turn 72 in 47 days. 72 in 47 days. Attorney General, 72 in our most pure cipher, just like President Trump, who's 72 years old right now. No. Let me see. I'm going to turn the... I thought somebody bought the book, but they just favorited it. We've had 2 people favorite the shop during the live stream. Got to get those book sales numbers up. I just turned on the sound to see if anybody buys it. The book is linked in the description of every video. Every American deserves to have this book. You know, a lot of you guys go and you'll spend all this money on these overpriced educations that just tire you out, exhaust you, make you hate learning, don't really give you anything that advances your position in this world. Maybe a piece of paper that'll help you get a job you probably won't like so much. You can pick up my book for $10. Have the knowledge to do all sorts of things in this world, including make money at rigged sports games. You know, people who follow me told them this week the safest pick was Saints over the Rams, and it was all about 45. How many points the Saints beat the Rams with? 45, the 9th triangular number. Drew Brees became 4-5 all-time against the Rams in week 9. Number 9. Drew Brees' name equals 99, 99th NFL season. From politics to sports, it's all scripted by the same exact code. So let's talk about some of these other big stories. Colorado elects nation's first openly gay governor. Let's see what they did here. Notice he's 43 years old. Hey, there's a book sale. There's somebody who gets it. Thank you. He's 43 years old in our most pure cipher. Homosexuals, 43. This happened in Colorado, also 43 in our base ciphers. And look at homosexual in Colorado. What do you know? Better yet, look at government and homosexual. Overlap in 3 of the 4 ciphers. Do you guys remember when they lit up the White House? I'll show you something here about White House. Remember when they lit up the White House rainbow colors when the Supreme Court had their big ruling? Oh, shoot. Sometimes the Gematria, oh, there we go. White House got that 133 thing going, a lot of overlap there. President got that 133 thing going. But, you know, this makes me think, it's like, why is there so much overlap with government and homosexual and Freemasonry? It is based in Judaism, and this isn't about all Jews, but there's an element of Judaism that is really obsessed with anal sex, like overly obsessed. And it's also no secret that in some lodges, Masons do have intercourse with goats. So understand, this whole nation, founded by Masons, they've always controlled the government, the authority, the media. I really don't think this is an accident. Plus, look at what happens to us as a people. Metaphorically, we all get fucked in our ass literally every single day by this government. And now that we're centuries into this agenda here in the United States of America, homosexuality is getting pushed really hard, and it comes from the top. And you just see it. I mean, little boys want to be girls now, and little girls want to be boys. I don't think any of this stuff's an accident. I do not. So, Jared Polis, the right age. There's also another thing I noticed here. His name equals 206, right? 206, 206 bones in the body. The body is the temple. Check this out in the base ciphers. Masonic temple 206, 206 bones in the body. The body's the temple. But this is the point about 206 I really want to make. His opponent was Walker Stapleton. And from his birthday to the election was 206 days, where he goes down to the fairest gay governor. And then the other thought I had here was, do you remember how Colorado and Washington State were the first two states to have recreational marijuana? And then right after that, they met in the Super Bowl, in the NFL, the two teams. It was the Up and Smoke Bowl. It was called. Seattle playing the team from Colorado. Seattle's the 206 area code. I just couldn't help but think of that being from Seattle. I was like, is that a coincidence, or is there some deeper riddle here? Seattle's one of the most homosexual cities in the nation. By the way, for any Seahawks fans out there, Seahawks equals 48. Seattle Seahawks equals 43. They beat the team from Colorado with 43 points. Remember that in Super Bowl 48? I do. Said why the Seattle was going to beat the Broncos and it would be a whooping in that Super Bowl. All scripted by the numbers. Every single Super Bowl is. That's how we've called nearly every sports championship from the beginning of the season since I started doing this. Also, something people probably didn't notice about the election yesterday, November 6th. It was to elect the 116th Congress. Thanks for that book sale, too. Appreciate it. First two sales of the day. Slow day here. November 6th, we elect the 116th. Oh, shoot, am I going to need to take a break for some water? 116th Congress on November 6th. And interesting, right? Here's what the makeup of the House was before the election took place. The House had 235 Republicans. Makes me think of the 23.5 degrees on each leg of the compass, making the 47-degree angle, just like how the tropics of this earth are 23.5 degrees apart, 47 degrees of separation. The word time equals 47. Republicans, 47. We just talked about how relevant this number is to government. We had an all-Republican, leadership. The House, the Senate, the executive. 193 Democrats is interesting because that's the 44th prime number, and Democrats equals 44. Democrats also equals 55. And like I pointed out, the Democrats would take the House yesterday. It was in the numbers. Yesterday had 55 date numerology, and it left 55 days left in the year. I also heard Trump say something this morning that doesn't look like it's going to be true, but Trump said, today we have 55 Republican senators, a record number. And after he said that, I saw other places say that wasn't going to be true, but we'll see. If it ends up being 55 Republican senators, remember that. I heard Trump claim it this morning, but then I heard after that it wasn't true. But he didn't say that by accident. That was the big number on yesterday's election. If you were in Gematria school, we showed how many candidates had the 55 numbers yesterday. So that was the 115th Congress. Now we're the 116th. Look how many Democrats there were, 47. Federal equals 51. 2 independents, 2 written out as a word has Gematria, 58. Like Freemasonry, like secret society, like Trump, the winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election after announcing he was running from the 58-story Trump Tower, hired the 58-year-old Steve Ray for Inauguration Day. So all the numbers, they're cleverly thought out, and we'll see what final count they go with, but no doubt it'll be numerical. We're still not there. They haven't given us the final count, but we did predict it correctly here. We said Democrats take the House, Republicans control the Senate. Give us that back and forth, divisive, teeter-totter narrative they've been building up. Also, something that jumped out. To control the House, the number was 218. And does this remind you of Trump's emergency alert at 2:18 Eastern time on October 3rd? Um, it also reminds me that when the election was called for Trump in 2016, where Hillary was at with her electoral count at the time of it being called for Trump, she was right at 218 electoral votes. She ended up finishing with 227, the 49th prime. But when it was called at the moment for Trump, she was at 218. So interesting how that number came back again. And from Trump's October 3rd, 218, text message to the election was a span of 35 days. That's also a number connecting to Democrats. So was it a coincidence? I don't think so. Did you guys notice that Trump was wearing a blue tie today? Speaking about this, that's the other thing I love about all the Republicans who voted for Trump. It's like, do you guys not know that he was a Democrat his entire life until Obama took office? You guys missed my video I uploaded yesterday, the flashback from 2016, where I called everything about what was going to happen in this nation. You should go back and check that out. Donald Trump, a Democrat his whole life until Obama took office, wearing the blue tie today. It's all just a puppet show. These people don't stand for anything but, their own power, their own ego, their own wealth. That's all they care about. The haves and the have-nots. Politicians are from the haves group. Also, again, November 6, 2018, date with 55 numerology. Democrats 55 days left in the year. Here's when it was called for Trump. Here's the thing from 2016, Clinton at 218. Remember, Trump in all caps and Francis Bacon Gematria does equal 218. Elizabeth Warren, she won yesterday. Here, I'll show you something real interesting about Elizabeth Warren real quick. Spell her name right here. From her birthday, June 22nd, to the election, check this out. This is like Trump's biggest foe, right? Oh, by the way, Maxine Waters, his other big foe, her full name in Gematria sums to 218. Something else we pointed out along the way. If you go from Elizabeth Warren's birthday to the date of the election, it was her 138th day of her age, right? And this is the forerunner we've been saying now for a while to run against Trump in 2020. Donald Trump's 138. It was her 138th day, big statement by the Democrats against Trump in the big theatrical show. If you don't count the full span of days, the other way you can say this is it's 137 days after her birthday. Huge number. Kabbalah in Hebrew is 137. There's the statue in Washington, D.C. of Albert Pike holding his book, Morals and Dogma, considered the Freemason Bible, where he says all thanks is owed to Kabbalah. Morals and Dogma is 137. Washington, D.C. is 137. Government's 137. Authority is 137. White House is 137. So remember this about the way the election lined up with Elizabeth Warren 137 days after her birthday, or on her 138th day of her age. And Donald Trump's 138. So is federal. And, don't think that's an accident at all. What's Maxine Waters' full name again? And we'll talk about how Maxine Waters, she's the leader there in the impeach Trump camp. Check out her whole name, Maxine Moore Waters. She won, of course. They got to have her in there for the puppet show. Maxine Moore Waters, 218, the magic number. And with regards to impeach, I've been talking about this for years too. I've been saying I do not expect Trump to finish his term because he's been compared to Richard Nixon and JFK from day one for different reasons. Neither of those presidents finished their term, and that's who Trump's drawn the most comparisons to. So here's the thing. Trump ran on the Make America Great Again pledge, right? Make America Great Again. This number 134 is a big one. Trump was in Jerusalem for Jerusalem Day. He's got his face on the shekel to build the third temple. Jerusalem Day, 134. He's got his wife, Melania, 134. He's got his boy at 666 fifth, Jared Kushner, 134. He's the Trump card running during the time of the hit show House of Cards, 134. Tisha B'Av, remember it. That's the this is the prophecy that Trump's connected to for the Jews with the third temple. This is what Tisha B'Av's about. The English way of saying Tisha B'Av is 9th of Av, 134. You know, Trump, the first Jewish president, crypto. But here's the impeach part. Impeach 134. So I'm watching 134 days from this election. Also 134 days from the day that the new Congress takes office. You know, things move slow in Washington, but it's probably more likely like 134 days after the 116th Congress falls into place. Here, let's see what that would be. I'm pretty sure that they take office. Hold on. Is it January 3rd? So they're going to take office January 3rd, 2019. What is that? That's a little more than 4 months. So it would be like May. It'd be somewhere around May 15th. Let's see what that is. Oh, I typed in May 16th. Let's just see what that is. Oh, that's funny. I got it right. So May 16th is 133 days after, but if you count the full span, it'll be the 134th day of the new Congress. What kind of numerology? Oh, you know, if only it was, hold on. Just thinking about the date numerology too. Well, that day would make sense. 165, Scottish Rite, 165. Somewhere around this time, I won't be surprised if we start seeing the impeachment narrative really cook up, or if the process starts. You know, they say that Robert Mueller thing's about to come roaring back. They're saying that this new attorney general, they're saying that the new attorney general for Jeff Sessions, he's already been devising a scheme to defund Robert Mueller. And they're saying that could provoke a constitutional crisis. This guy right here, Matthew Whitaker, they say for months he's been figuring out a scheme to defund the Robert Mueller investigation, which is just another big puppet show. Understand, I'm exposing the puppet show here. I love how people will always get all angry and I'd be like, so what are you, a Hillary supporter? It's like, are you listening to any of the words I'm saying right now? I don't support the federal government. I'm exposing that it's tyranny and needs to be ended. But anyway, this is the narrative they're setting up. This guy's already possibly involved in a criminal conspiracy against the Mueller investigation. If he takes it further, it could be a constitutional crisis. Somebody's texting me things that I've been reporting about for a long time. Thanks for what I knew and did a video on 8 years ago. Anyway, let's see. Where were we at? Oh, yeah. How all of these pieces are falling into place. So I'm saying watch around this time, 2019. Let's also just see what that would be from November 6th, the day of the election, just in case it starts sooner than I'm expecting. I don't think it will. Things usually take time. So what's that? Sometime in what's April 1st? Too far. March 15th. What's that? Further. So March 19th. Oh, March 19th would be the 134th day since the vote, a span, or March 20 is 134 days after. Just thinking out loud here. Anyway, the point of me doing this right now is so you guys can understand the way things work and how I often predict things before they happen. This is the way I start looking at things. I know what the numbers are on the event. I recognize how the puppet show is scripted by the same ritualistic numbers. And so many people start asking the wrong question. They start going, well, I don't get what 134 means. And it's like, look, you're asking the wrong question. This isn't what Gematria is about. Gematria is about taking numbers or words that have relationships and matching numerical values, and then conducting rituals around those numbers that correspond with those words. And, you know, that's what you need to get. You guys ask all the wrong questions. You don't see the obvious. If I'm sitting here for 10 years straight showing how they do everything around 47 and you don't want to get the concept of Gematria because you don't get what 47 means, even though I've explained that 1,000 times too, it's just like, I don't know, change your diet, learn to sleep more, start doing different drugs than whatever you're on now. Like most of you are on coffee, and coffee's not actually good. for cognitive thought. I don't drink coffee. A lot of people think it gets them stimulated and awake and focused, maybe temporarily, but over the long term, I'm pretty sure it makes people stupid. Anyway, this is what we're looking at here for the future Trump presidency. And just remember, if you get impeached, that doesn't mean you get removed from office, but that would work up the populace even more. Just for a little more historical perspective, George Washington, the first president of the United States, the election back then was over a span of days, and George Washington ran unopposed. But that election began December 15th, 1788. It went through January 10th, 1789. Think about how we write January 10th in the US. 1/10, like 110. President with the alphabetic order 110. But check out these dates. First of all, 88, George Washington 88, Masonic Ritual 88. Of course, Trump's also 88. So is the Republican Party. But December 15th, 1788 was a date with 132 numerology, like how United States of America is 132, like how there's 132 rooms in the White House. If you do the United States of America, it also has Gematria of 117, and the day the election ended was a date with 117 numerology. And if you didn't notice with the Jeff Sessions thing, today's November 7th, right? 11/7. And we focused on the 47 days, but it's also 1 month and 17 days to his birthday. Other important numbers. It was from the election to George Washington's 57th birthday was 43 days. Masonic equals 43. D is the fourth letter. C is the third. DC 43. 50. He was 57 years old when he took office. George equals 57. Scottish Rite 57. Scottish Rite, the most Jewish branch of Freemasonry. Jews 57. Moon 57. The Jews identify through the moon. Moon, another big part of these people's rituals. So here's something else that stood out. Minnesota and Michigan elect first 2 Muslim women to Congress. And notice if a certain letter stands out as I read this. A pair of districts in the Midwest will add Muslim women to the ranks of the U.S. Congress for the first time, CNN has projected. Michigan Democrat Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party's nominee. You notice a certain letter popping a lot there? Midwest, Muslim, Michigan, Minnesota. Muhammad? M, right? M's popping. Notice the word prophet equals 91. That's the 13th triangular number, meaning if you add 1 through 13, it equals 91. M is the 13th letter, first letter in Mason, too. Rashida, who took office in Michigan, she's 42 years old. Remember, female equals 42 with the alphabetic order. Lady equals 42. Even the B word equals 42 with the alphabetic order. Her name, her surname has that Gematria 91. Congresswoman, 91. 91, the 13th triangular number. Prophet, right? Her name's got some other Gematria that's popping out too. Notice the 104. We'll talk about that. From her birthday to the day she was elected was her 106th day of her age. Muhammad, the prophet, prophecy, 106. Not a coincidence. This lady here has the 104 Gematria, and the other lady elected has the 10-4 birthday. Special numbers to this nation: 7-4, 17, 76 have 104 numerology. British equals 104. So does Jerusalem. That's who this nation works for. This is Westworld over here. We serve other people's interests. But this lady's name, her name equals 91 too. What are the odds? What are the odds how it syncs up so nicely with all the M's and the prophet? Anytime there's these Muslim rituals in our mainstream media, it's always in tribute to the Prophet Muhammad. Just like how I predicted the death of Muhammad Ali at age 74 years before it happened. He died on the day that corresponded with the age that the Prophet Muhammad died at. Muhammad Ali, dead at 74. Muhammad 74, killing 74, Gematria 74, English 74, Jewish 74, Masonic 74. Realize in Hebrew, you read from right to left, so 74 is 4-7 with that type of vision. These numbers are essentially the same, right where we began. A Colt 40 or 74, excuse me. Now I'm reading like Hebrew. Just for all you Christians out there, just remember his name's not really Jesus. It's coded Jesus 74, Messiah 74, Cross 74, Gospel 74, Parable 74. You want to know why they did this? It's because G-D, the way Jews write God, G-D is 7-4. G's the seventh letter, D's the fourth. G-D 7-4, just like Elohim. Numbers of God, numbers of the Creator, the most special numbers. Out of the 50 states, only one sums to 74 using the alphabetic order. The same dark green cipher. The 33rd state, Oregon. Masons really like 33 and 74. Masonry 33 and our most pure cipher, secrecy 33, order 33, federal 33. The abbreviation for Oregon is OR 33. Only the 33rd state 74. Earlier we were talking about 137. That's the 33rd prime. I got a kick out of this headline last night when CNN finally announced that it was official for the Democrats. Democrats take the House and GOP holds the Senate. 448, just like ancient accepted Scottish rite of Freemasonry, what's etched on the building in D.C., the headquarters there. The whole government's a bunch of Masons doing Masonic rituals. Did I skip the... you can check my blog. I have a post on the 2 Native women elected to. One's from the Chohunk tribe. It's all by the numbers. Check my blog. I'm sure you can believe it. Or do your own decode. You'll see. Anyhow, let's just real quick, just to remind you that all of the news is propaganda by the numbers. On August 16th, when this was breaking news about the Colorado man Chris Watts, who murdered his wife and children, I showed how the whole story was coded around the numbers of murder. We'll come back to this 34 and this 4 and 3, okay? But I showed day one this. Before we even get to that part, I just showed that the family name was Watts 83. It happened in Colorado 83. Murder equals 83. The song Murder by Numbers by the Police came out in 83. Showed how this whole story was centered around these numbers of murder. Now look, from the day of the charge where the news broke August 16th to the day he pleaded guilty, yesterday, Election Day, November 6th, was a span of 83 days. You know, what are the odds? And again, it's not like this is just one random thing. This is what we've been doing for 5 years straight. You know, who's the one person in the world who told you guys what day the Oregon standoff hoax was going to end the day it began? I said this Oregon standoff hoax will end in 41 days on February 11th, 2016, which is the exact day it ended. And how did I know that from the beginning? Just another little example here. The leader of it was Ammon Bundy, 41, right? Standoff equals 41. Ranchers, they were a bunch of ranchers, 41. And what is 41? It's the 13th prime number. What happened that day in the news media was Oregon, the college football team, and understand all of the world of college and professional sports that have Vegas gambling on it, they're all scripted to the point. All of them. All of them. We've proven this ice cold. Oregon lost the Alamo Bowl with a record comeback by Texas Christian University, who won with 47 points. But anyway, Oregon lost with 41, the Alamo Bowl, where the Alamo lasted 13 days. And then as soon as that ended, the breaking news was that there was this standoff at a federal building, which was closed for the holidays in the middle of central Oregon in an isolated area. And I just said right away, I said, think about how dumb this is. Imagine starting a standoff at a building that nobody's at in the middle of nowhere, where not even 1,000 people live within 100 miles of where you are. And this breaks across all news outlets. They just know that this is happening right now at this moment. The news media is ready to go with this Oregon standoff situation. I mean, you just got to be so dumb to not get it just in an instant. The top headline is Record Comeback in Alamo Bowl. The headline right next to it is Oregon Standoff Emerges. It's like, God, they just treat us like we're the dumbest goyim on the face of the earth. And we are. And I just said right then, it's going to end 41 days later. It's going to end on the 42nd day of the year because Alamo equals 42. And sure enough, it did. So I've been doing stuff like this for a long time. Not enough people appreciate my work, you know, and it's sad. It's sad. It's either you want to get what's going on in this nation or you want to be a dumb sheep and you want to fall for lies and propaganda and cheer for one side of the political aisle and believe in fairy tales like the pussy grabber is going to fight the new world order, a guy who was born into the rich elite, who's comes from a powerful family, born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be the champion of the common people. I mean, again, all of this stuff only happens because it's a nation of goyim, and I'm trying to help end that, you know? Trying to help goyim elevate here. So, what else? What else? I forgot to cover the cigar-shaped object yesterday on November 6th, the day leaving 55 days left in the year. Harvard. Oh, it came from Harvard, the Ivy League school, which is all controlled by masonry that does everything by this code. Harvard says there's a cigar-shaped thing in space that proves aliens are out there. Oh, really? You know, date with 55 numerology, cigar-shaped 55, day leaving 55 days left in the year. Like I said yesterday, I guarantee you these sick bastards that control the media, rig the elections. I guarantee you this is a subliminal for Bill Clinton. You know, Trump and Clinton, they're two names that are attached. They're right next to each other. It's voting day. You think of politics and cigars. What's the first thing you think of? You think of Bill Clinton, right? You have to, unless you're young. Cigar-shaped interstellar object. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. And don't forget who also told you that Clinton Dix, the man named Ha Ha Clinton Dix in the NFL, I told you his rookie season, he's born in the same year Bill Clinton was elected to the office. I said, there's a sick joke, another example of a farmed athlete meant to mock us. And then you got to love that Clinton Dix was traded to the Washington Redskins, D.C., 47 days before his birthday. Don't forget that Bill Clinton took the White House 211 days before his 47th birthday, 211, the 47th prime. From sports to news to politics, all rigged by the same code. And now let's talk about Robert Mueller, who's about to come roaring back. Mueller could soon roar back into the news. Well, now that the Democrats got the House, they have the ability to bring forth the impeachment documents. Then the Senate will be able to reject it, which is the obvious narrative. But it'll just be one that gets people riled up and distracted and forgetting that as a nation we've been at war with a lie, at war over a lie for nearly 2 decades now. We've also been at war almost our entire nation's existence. They'll forget that we send over $10 million a day to Israel. They'll forget that we're taxed without representation. They'll forget that we're lied to, that we're poisoned, that while we're distracted with the Mueller investigation, our Congress is probably busy, you know, making sure that we can't know more and more harmful chemicals that are being put into our food. You know, all the things that Congress does that doesn't get any news traction. How many times over the last decade has Congress voted on a bill so we can't know about a new chemical developed by the industry that's in our food? This is what goes on every single day in Washington. We wonder why more and more children are dying of unheard of disease and illness and mysteries, and why things like autism are on the rise and people have peanut allergies. And then, you know, somebody like myself comes and goes, well, could it be because Congress covered up, you know, chemical XYZ that we're not allowed to know about that's in our food? What are you, some kind of conspiracy theorist? And then all the dumb goyim around me go, yeah, Zach, that sounds like some conspiracy theory stuff. I'm like, really? So you just think that Congress covering up the chemical that's in our food that we can't know about, you know, that's not a conspiracy? I don't understand what your perspective is. Are you questioning that a man in a cave took down the World Trade Center, Zach? Are you some kind of conspiracy theorist? Oh my God. It's like it never ends. But anyway, Robert Mueller, 187. Investigation, 187. Washington, D.C., 187. George Washington, 187. From the day Trump had his convention start on 18/7, like 187, to Inauguration Day was a span of 187 days. In D.C., ancient accepted Scottish rite of Freemasonry etched on the building, 187. 187 chapters in the Torah where this code comes from. Oh, I forgot to write it up here. The first justice that Trump put in was Neil McGill Gorsuch, 187. The first Supreme Court justice, the one that replaced Scalia that died by the numbers. Neil McGill Gorsuch, 187. Notice the 88 too in his name. Judge equals 8847. He was confirmed on April 7th. The 88 goes with his name and judge and Trump, the first one he put in, who's also 47. Anthony Kennedy just announced he was retiring on the day, leaving 187 days left in the year. And just as a reminder about Kavanaugh, look at this. Kavanaugh equals 86. Thomas equals 86. Anita Hill equals 86. Sexual assault equals 86. Kavanaugh was confirmed on the same day in history, October 6th, the day leaving 86 days left in the year, the same day in history that Anita Hill came out with her allegations of sexual assault against Clarence Thomas, and both men made the court. And think about what the subliminal message is there. It's like, okay, these guys could be truly sexual predators, powerful men, able to get away with it, and now sit on the highest court in the land for a lifetime appointment where they will rule over a nation of hundreds of millions of people. You know? And don't forget that Kavanaugh's a Jesuit. The Jesuit name is Society of Jesus. Society of Jesus, that's the full name, 187. That's why Washington, D.C. sits between Virginia and Maryland, like Virgin Mary. It used to be the Catholic colony. It's why the entire history of the Supreme Court is mostly Catholics and also Jews. Of course, the Catholic Church is run by the Jews. Of course, the entire world of religion is run by the Jews. That's why pretty much all of the mainstream religions go back to the Old Testament. That's why the number 74 is coded all over the Christian Messiah. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention about TCU's record comeback over Oregon. The Christian school, they won with 47 points. You know, the religion for the Goy, 47. Religion is for Goy. It is. Don't get mad, Christians. I'm just telling you the truth. If you hate the truth, I'm sorry. Sorry if you hate the truth. I also forgot to mention up here about this story about the 4 and 3 and 34. Come back to murder real quick. Sorry, we're skipping around, but just to understand why all the ciphers are important. 34, she was murdered. The whole story is 83. The children were 3 and 4, or 4 and 3. Killings also 43. You see? So those were the main points. Those were the main points, no doubt about it. Let me see if anyone in the Goyim Defense League's trolling in the chat today. Goyim Defenseless League, they don't want to know the code. Wow, I'm impressed with the likes today, you guys. Normally I come out here and there's like 20 likes, and then I have to say, can you hit the like button? But today, I feel like you guys are representing. So Amino's truth too must be like someone who has Amino's truth too. I'm just going to assume you're retarded because your question is, now that we understand Gematria, how can it help us? So to watch what I just presented and ask that, you have to be a retard. So I don't know if I can help you because retarded means severely stunted, and you should already know how it can help you. I mean, that should be crystal clear. I just said how I predict things before it happens. It exposes how the cabal works. It exposes that the entire government's a fraud. The problem with fucking retards like yourself is you're the reason we're ruled over. You can't see the obvious. You need your shoes tied for you. You need your ass wiped for you. You know, you're helpless. The other thing that's nice about Gematria is it shows who around us is fucking worthless and retarded. Someone such as yourself. And people don't like me because I run my mouth and talk like an asshole. You know what? I'm sick of people who are so fucking dumb, such as yourself. I don't know how you could possibly ask that question after what I just presented. Hopeless. The Great Tribulation. I can't predict anything for certain. I predict a lot of things correctly, but watch out for the date August 11th, 2019. Again, there's a lot of reasons we're watching out for the date August 11th, 2019, but here's a big one. Remember, first, before I type in anything, August 11th, 2019. It is these important things on the calendar. Tisha B'Av, to remember the destruction of the two temples. It is the Muslim day of sacrifice, and it is the time of the Hajj. And right now we have Donald Trump on the side of a coin that's being sold in Israel. By the way, this coin went on sale on the 102nd day of the year. It's a shekel. It's got Trump and King Cyrus on one side and the third temple on the other. But anyway, August 11th, 2019 is a date with 58 numerology. And it's 58 days after Trump's birthday. The man who announced he was running from the 58-story Trump Tower, who hired the 58-year-old Steve Ray for Inauguration Day. Again, the winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election. Hillary put out her book, What Happened, about why she lost the election, 58. Here's what's up. Third temple equals 58. The third temple is supposed to bring in the Jewish Messiah who's supposed to rule over the world, okay? He's supposed to arrive through the Golden Gate, and we'll get to that. So, third temple, 58. Tisha B'Av, to remember the destruction of Herod's temple, 58, and Solomon's temple, 58. Jerusalem, which Donald Trump said he would make the eternal Jewish capital, is 58. That's why he's on the coin with King Cyrus, because they're the two men that said they would make that happen. Don't forget, Freemasonry's 58. So is Rosicrucian. Rosicrucian means Rose Cross. Rosicrucian, 58. Rose Cross, 58. The Rose Cross is a symbol of secret society, secrecy. Secret society, 58. So there's a lot of things that line up with August 11th, 2019. When you think Golden Gate, which is connected to this prophecy of the third temple, right now San Francisco has the 45th mayor. She replaced Ed Lee, who was murdered by the numbers. She's going to turn 45 years old, August 11th, 2019. Her name's London Breed, which sounds like London Bridge. And check out Golden Gate in our base ciphers, 45 forwards and backwards. Her name, London Breed, is 54 forwards and backwards, the reflection of those numbers. So she's going to turn 45 as the 45th mayor on that date. She's obviously installed in there for a reason. Remember, this whole thing is biblical. Holy Bible's 45 forwards and backwards. 4 letters in Holy, 5 in Bible. 4 plus 5, 9 letters. 45 is the 9th triangular number. For those who don't follow my sports picks, Drew Brees, 45. New Orleans, 45. I said this week in week 9, it was all about the Saints and Drew Brees becoming 4-5 against the Rams in week 9. And lo and behold, Drew Brees and the Saints won with 45 points. Beat the only undefeated team in the league, just like they did back in 2001. So anyway, that was a side point. That didn't have to do with August 11th, but I'm just reminding you, this whole code is used across the board to script news, elections, sports. That's why you learn this code. You see how the world's truly being operated. And understand, football and politics, they go hand in hand. Case in point, 9/11 Patriot Act, New England Patriots become the greatest team in the history of the scripted NFL. Not an accident. Remember how the whole Patriots thing began? It began with a New York Jet football player sacking number 11 Drew Bledsoe, bringing about Tom Brady by the numbers. And in 1968, World Trade Center construction began. September 11th, 2000. World Trade Center construction began. 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. George W. Bush graduated from Yale in Skull and Bones. The New York Jets won their only Super Bowl. Space Odyssey 2001 came out. The Quran Code was also discovered in 68. And the Quran Code is all about 19. We're focused on 2019 chaos. Big number there with chaos, 19. Remember the chaos from the caravan story that began on the 19th of October? So there's a whole lot more to that August 11th, 2019 ritual. Another important thing is that's the 223rd day of the year. The synagogue of Satan equals 223. It's the day leaving 142 days left in the year. Terrorist equals 142. Al-Qaeda was supposedly established August 11th in the year 1988. The terrorist organization who had the attack on the World Trade Centers that lasted an hour and 42 minutes, you know? So check out my playlist that I put out, the whole birth of the red heifer, which was circulating during September 11th. That whole red heifer story pointed to August 11th. It was born on the day, leaving 118 days left in the year, which is kind of like 11/8 for August 11th. We talked about how Trump went to the Western Wall. Show you something about Western Wall and Israel here in our base ciphers. Notice Western Wall's 44 and 64. So is Israel, 44, 64. Trump was at the Western Wall May 22nd, 2017, a date with numerology of 44 and 64. That's the site where they're going to build the third temple. And from the day he was there, May 22nd, 2017 to August 11th is 811 days later. 8/11, another way to write the date, August 11th. And 811 is the 141st prime. San Francisco, California equals 141. 811, the 141st prime. In the film Pacific Rim, the monster attacks San Francisco on the date, August 11th, causing much destruction in the city. Coincidence or predictive programming? So San Francisco is also 202, which was the number coded all over the red heifer story. In Jewish Gematria, red heifers 202 plus. Just go back and watch my video. You'll see how much they coded this number. So these are the rituals we're watching. So health and wellness. See, I hate listening to idiots comment. So here's an idiot, and you're a religious person. Most religious people are idiots. Here's your comment, something I've never said. Zach thinks the coded name of Jesus and the coded language in the Bible disproves Jesus. Just because it is coded with Gematria doesn't disprove the moral truths and existence of Jesus as Messiah. Okay, I've never said that it disproves Jesus or anything. I never said that. I said the reason the name is Jesus, which is not his name is Yeshua. The reason Jesus is because of the code. That's what I said. You retards read into things that I don't say. It's because you're dumb. Get tired of listening to dumb people. If you guys are so fucking spiritually enlightened, then how come you didn't figure out the code? Then how come you're not out here working your ass off, giving up your own life, making sacrifices to end the tyranny? Huh? All you guys can do is sit on your knees and fold your fucking hands and say, I'm so fucking great because I believe in what this book, licensed by a king tells me to believe in. That word with the lie in the middle. Now, I never said you're wrong. I said, I just don't think like you. What I also said is I'm a lot smarter than you. But I never said you guys are necessarily wrong. You could be right even though you're 10 times dumber. Get tired of you idiots. Reading comments. Let's see what we got here. There's so many different spellings of Yeshua, I just explain here. I'll show you another one about the name Jesus in our base ciphers. I'll show you another one here. You think that's 70? Understand? Okay, you guys, there's one okay, let's get rid of the other ciphers here. There's about a 1% chance of a word summing to 74. So Jesus is 74, cross is 74, Messiah is 74, gospel 74, parables is 74. 1% times 1% times 1% times 1% times 1% is less than 1 in a million, okay? That's what the odds of those things lining up are. And again, this number's special to these people. The English translation of Jesus is Joshua. Look it up. The name Joshua means Jesus in English. It's also 74. How perfect. And then just think about the whole riddle with Jesus being crucified on the cross at age 33. The only state that sums to 74 using the alphabetic order is the 33rd state, Oregon. And then what's our holiday? Independence Day, it's a 7-4. English 74, Gematria 74. Independence Day sums to 74 if you use the alphabetic order and rules of numerology. But I mean, just look at all this. You think this is a coincidence? You don't think that this is part of the riddle? You know, Jesus on the cross at 33, Oregon, the 33rd state, the only one that sums to 74. Like I've said, the New Testament has the numbers of Freemasonry and the Scottish Rite all over it. And it looks like I didn't even write those words up here. Jewish 74, Masonic 74. This knowledge is occult 74. No? You a big coincidence theorist? We're about in the 1 in a billion odds here. We're about in the 1 in billion territory. You got a better chance of winning the lottery by a long shot. I saw that Dennis Hoff won. Remember, Dennis Hoff was murdered by the numbers. I covered his video. Should we go back and look at the Dennis Hoff thing? Let's just do it real quick. It'll just take a second. Dennis Hoff was a perfect example of murder by numbers. This Lamar Odom thing was by the numbers too, but hold on. I want the more recent death of Dennis Hoff. Where is it? Here we go. Dennis Hoff, Nevada's legal pimp, found dead at Love Ranch, October 16, 2018. So, date was 64 and 44 numerology, kill 44 and 64. October 16th, the day leaving 76 days left in the year. October 16th equals 76, so does blood sacrifice. Found dead at the Love Ranch. See how they emphasize Love Ranch? Love Ranch 44. It's like the date numerology, like kill. Love Ranch and execution overlap. Sacrifice 46. Ranch 44, like how Antonin Scalia died on the ranch on the day leaving 44 days left in the year. Which is also, oh, I don't have all the ciphers up here. In our most pure cipher, Scalia died during the time of Lupercalia, the 44th day of the year. Celebration of the dead there with Lupercalia. Dennis Hoff, he just turned 72 years old, right? And he had this deal with HBO. Home box office 72, HBO 16, dead on the 16th, right after turning 72. So. Dennis Hoff, murder by numbers. Do a video on the Zodiac Killer. I'm going to ask that you do a video on the Zodiac Killer. I touched on Zodiac Killer in my book. I've done videos on him before. You can do one. Wow, there's a lot of comments. Chat skipped way down. Well, where's all those smiley faces I just saw? Oh my God, is there really this many new comments since the smiley faces? I can't even go up all the way. Health and Wellness is our Jesus sponsor here today. You can never have a live chat without a good Jesus sponsor in the room. I don't, I grew up Christian. I was raised Lutheran. I believed when I was a little boy, because I think that's what religion is for little boys, little girls, little children, people whose minds haven't fully evolved yet. And, when I grew up, I just realized, there's all these different religions. The religion you're born into is the one most people believe in. And really all this does is just divide us. And, I don't really need religion and a reward system. I just know to be a good person because it feels right to be good. I pretty much live by the golden rule, which is Jesus' most important teaching. But then all the stuff that's in the book about like, believe in me before all other things, I'm not so sure. I mean, what's that really doing for anybody? Nothing. All right. Well, there's no way I'm going to get through all these comments. We'll be here all day. I always admit that I have an ego problem. People are always criticizing my ego. You guys can criticize it all you want. I already know it's a problem. I talk about it all the time. My ego is what keeps me prevailing in this world, though. My ego pushes me forward. Because, see, if I didn't have my ego, I'd probably cower down to all the idiots in my life that tell me I'm a conspiracy theorist and I should just do this and I should just put my hands together and wait on my knees for Jesus. Because that's what the majority of America is. They think truth's conspiracy theory. They think all you can do is wait for the Messiah. Who wants you dismissing truth and waiting and believing and not thinking? My ego says, you're too smart, Zach, to fall for this bullshit. And I mean, most of the religious Christian-y type of people, religious type, I mean, if there really is an afterlife, these are the last people I want to be hanging around, honestly. Most of these people just drive me up the wall. Can you imagine being around Ned Flanders every day? I'll stand on hot coals instead. My goodness. All right, just checking the comments here. We got to wrap this up pretty soon. We got a young person in the chat. Thanks for supporting as a young person. You're ahead of your time. August 11th, 2019 also has 44 numerology. It does? I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't know what kind of math you're doing. Look, for all you religious people, I don't come here and talk about religion. And I don't make videos putting down your religion. When I get angry and talk about religion, it's because I'm just tired of listening to you guys bring up the same shit every single day. If you're going to watch my videos, you already know how I believe. And I've never said I'm right. I said, this is why I believe what I believe. I mean, I don't know why you guys have to go on about the same things every day. It looks like your religion is like a mental block for you. Are you even focusing on what I'm teaching you? Use these teachings. They don't have anything to do with your religion. Okay? You want to fight the cabal? This is how you do it. I don't think Eric Bradford, I don't know what kind of math you're doing, dude. 8 plus 11 plus 19 is 38, not 28. I think your math's wrong, buddy. I haven't seen anyone that needs to be banned today. Nobody needs to be banned. I've seen some comments deleted, but I don't even know what they said. Well, health and wellness. You'll probably like what I say about Jesus actually in my book. You might find a pleasant surprise in there because there's even a section in the organic side where I explain why I question my own beliefs about Jesus. So you should probably read that. You'll probably appreciate it. It was about, here, I'll just tell you guys real quick, just to give you a little, part of what I write about is this. This really happened about a year ago. It was October 2017. I was visiting this town that I now live in, and I was at a gas station, and there was this man in front of me, and he had, I can't think what you call it, an EBT card. It's like food stamps on a credit card, essentially. And he wanted to get some hot food with his EBT card at the gas station, like, I forget what he had, some chicken wings and I don't know. But the person said in a rude way that he couldn't buy it with that card and that he needed to leave the store. And I was like, well, hold on. And I gave him some money, just some cash that I had in my hand that I was going to use for gas, so he could buy his hot food, even though I didn't really support his diet. I'm a vegetarian. But anyway, so the man thanked me, and I believe his words were, he said, he looked back at the gas station attendant, and he's like, see, Jesus Christ is always looking out, or something like that. And I just happened to look at my phone as he said that, and I noticed it was 1:51 in the afternoon, right as he was making those remarks. And I thought, wow, that's really interesting that he just said that out loud, and it's 1:51, because Jesus Christ is 151. He was an old black man. He had the same physical description as Jesus in the Bible. And it actually made me sad. It made me sad. But it was an interesting moment. And I said, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. See how many more of these 151s happen in my life. So. Well, health and wellness. We're having a back and forth. I just get tired of people like badgering me about religion. I don't want to fight about religion. I'm not here to be persuaded, to a certain, like, if I change my religious stance, if someday I decide that, Jesus Christ is Messiah, that's going to happen on my own doing. It'll happen through things like what I just explained. Not because every day I get on and put out a video and then I got to read 100 comments from all the religious zealots saying, I'd follow you, but you don't believe in Christ. And look at how many videos have been made about me saying I'm a shill because I don't believe in Christ. Do you think any of these people are having any positive effect on me being persuaded to their religious beliefs? Of course not. They're just making me go, see, this is what religion ultimately does. It's like a wall to progress. It's like a stone wall that society can't get through, Oh, you're going to ignore me because I'm giving you all this knowledge to help you see through the tyranny in this world. You're not going to believe me because I have a different religious or a different spiritual belief than you. And that's all I've ever really seen from religion is, division. Exactly. And that's the other thing to think about that's just so logical. The name Jesus is so much like Zeus. The Greeks wrote the New Testament. Who's their God? Hey, Zeus. So here, I'm gonna end this, but I'm gonna say this one last thing for all the religious people. The chat always turns into religion and flat Earth. It's just like, my goodness, can we talk about the topic here? Can we expose some more of the tyranny? But oh goodness, I was gonna make a point and I just forgot it. Shoot, it'll come to me another time. So. You guys want to hear a funny story before I go? I used to work at a group home, right? And there was this one all these children are young. They were ages 5 to 12. And when I first started working there, the craziest girl, she always had to leave our facility and go to this hospital. And it was so terrible when they have to go to this other place because they're like in restraints the whole time. It's like Silence of the Lambs. But the craziest girl in the program, she was very religious, and we had to take her to church each Sunday. And one of the times that she had to go to the hospital where she's in restraints and she's like essentially being medicated into a zombie, when she came back from the hospital, a new child had moved in, and he moved into the room next to her. And he was a little Mexican kid. He had a little rat tail. He was the cutest kid in the world. Big Seattle Seahawks fan. I used to throw the football around with him. He loved it. But his name was Jesus, right? So she comes back, and the first thing she sees, because we put the child's name on the door in real big letters and let them do some artwork on it. She comes back and she sees the door next to hers is Jesus, right? But she doesn't know the Spanish pronunciation of Jesus. So she's like, Jesus moved in with these big eyes. Oh my goodness. It was funny. She thought Jesus was really there. If only could have brought some peace to the group home. But oh yeah, I remember the point I was going to make too. So I love when people ask me if I'm running for president. When did I ever run for president? I remember making a campaign for a book tour. I remember that. I don't ever remember running for president. I remember a bunch of retards saying that my book tour was for president. But this is what I was going to say for all of you. For all of you, you know, people who say, Zach, I'm just trying to help you find Jesus because it's going to help you. Look, I grew up religious. I was raised Lutheran. I believed as a child. I used to pray every single night that Jesus would come save my family and all the terrorism, not well, whatever you want to call it, all the horrible things that I saw going on in my world. You know who never showed up? You know who never showed up? So anyway, and just take a look at the world. It, I've said it before, you know, if Jesus is a real thing, I kind of think Jesus is an asshole to let all this suffering go on in the world, especially for his own people. I mean, he's supposed to have hair of wool and burnt brass skin, and I don't know who's suffering more in this world than his people. And that's the kind of neighborhood I grew up in, so I know it firsthand. All right, truth seekers. We got Gematria Effect Radio tonight, TFR Live. Looking forward to your calls. I always appreciate the first-time callers. If you do call in tonight, I wanna hear why you like this work. What's the most standout thing about this work? What makes you follow this work? What's the most impressive Gematria piece of information you've come across so far? I'd like to hear that. You know, I think that would be a great phone call. I think that would just be a cool show in general, just to hear people call in and say what it is about Gematria that makes them hang around. Because if you saw my interview with the Goyim Defense League, they're not too into Gematria. They don't really get it. It's above their pay grade. I had the leader of the Goyim Defense League. I could read his text messages right now. Should we read the Goyim Defense League leader's text messages from the last few days? He says, I deleted my video of you from the channel because I didn't want to look like a kook with conspiracy nonsense. He also sent some other text messages that aren't so nice. We got a lot of that was a few texts before that was you're a dirty scumbag. So anyway, hey, if you're out there, you can call in tonight too. I said let's have a debate about the relevance of Gematria. He's not willing to have a debate. Marty Leeds has also been trolling. Marty Leeds texted yesterday. He says, "You are the biggest piece of shit on the entire internet." And that's coming from a guy who trolls and pays for super chats to troll during the Goyim Defense League live stream. So the video I uploaded from No More News Adam Green, that's their leader. That's the Goyim Defense League leader. I call him the Goyim Defenseless League. All right, sorry if I missed your comment. Appreciate all of you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. You guys are just going to have to forgive me for being an asshole. I just can't get away from it. It's a percentage of my being. The world made me what I am. I can't help it. Well, maybe by the time I'm 50, I'll be able to help it, but I can tell you it's going to be some time off. All right, true seekers, appreciate all the book sales, the Patreon support. Thank you so much. It means a lot. You guys are helping building up the revenue so that we can create the Gematria News Network. But we still got a long, long way to go. But tell you what, in the last few months, we've made some major improvements. Thanks for the compliments too. Thanks for the forgiveness. Thanks, Tom. Tom acknowledges that you got to be an asshole sometimes. So, all right. See you guys tonight. Have a great rest of your day. TFRlive.com, the phone number to call in.
Phone number to call in, last thing, 213-233-3998. 213-233-3998. That's the number to call in. There's also a listen line. If you don't want me to pick up the phone, look at tfrlive.com and call in the listen line. Then I won't answer your call. All right, truth seekers, until next time.